Our next guest is the foodie following in his father's fabulous broadcasting footsteps by luring celebrities into Soho and blindfolding them. Episode 1 of his new podcast, Spooning, is out today, so please welcome the Wogan with the slogan, Hark, it's Mark Wogan!
Good morning, Mark!
Good morning. That's extraordinary. Well done, Vassos. I'd like to say that I don't think my father ever lured anyone into Soho and put a blindfold
Well, we don't
on.
know, do we?
No, I think I can pretty safely say he never did that.
He often went missing between 9:30 and lunch, where he was
Some
lunching.
say he went missing between 7:30 and 9:30 as well.
That's interesting. We have here Mark Wogan as a rebellious teen. The natural place to end up was in a kitchen. Your podcast is very foodie. It's lots of other things, but its foundations are in food. Please speak to its format, first of all, Mark.
Well, the whole idea behind it is that there's no such thing as a bad ingredient, right? So outside of a religious belief or perhaps an allergy, people have things that they don't eat. They think, oh, I don't like peas. I mean, I don't know whatever a pea has ever done wrong, but it's like, I don't like peas. So what we do is, before somebody comes on, they answer a little questionnaire about their food loves, their food hates, and then we build a little menu. And we work towards a moment where I blindfold them and we feed them a spoon of something they say they love and then a spoon of something they say they don't
Interesting.
like. But what's interesting is when you remove sight from the equation, most people can't tell what they're eating.
Yeah, we've done this with wine tasting before with cinnamon, because if you sort of pinch your nose or put a nose clip on and you bring cinnamon into the room, everybody thinks they don't know what it is. Then you taste it and it tastes like sawdust. Then you take the nose clip off, the reverse nasal passage kicks in, and you overwhelm with the smell of cinnamon, and it's not dissimilar when it comes to sight.
Well, I do have a little sort of Christmas-based taste test for you in my bag here.
Excellent,
Now, I
Vincenti.
didn't have a blindfold to hand, but I have got a Christmas hat that you could potentially pull over your eyes so you can't see. Who's going to be my guest?
I don't mind.
Not victim. Who'd like
I don't
to
mind.
take it on?
Rachel, you're excited.
I'll be your guest.
Okay.
Okay.
So here, chuck that on.
Right.
Pull it over.
We're going to pull the wool over your ears and your eyes.
I need you to be completely blindfolded.
There you go.
Yeah.
And what I'm going to do is first off,
That's hilarious.
It's a good look.
It's a great
Good
look.
look.
I've made these
very cute.
myself. So I'm going to traverse across the studio and
Traverse away, my friend.
feed her something. Yes. Now, what you've got to try and do, open wide. Here we go.
Uh-huh.
You've got to try and recognise that flavour. What have you got?
Good
there?
game.
Is it a chocolate brownie?
It's close. It's close. So you've got chocolate. What other flavours have you got coming through?
Oh, marzipan. Like
well,
almond.
yes, sort of marzipan, but what? How do you make marzipan?
Almonds.
Exactly. You don't have a nut allergy, by the way, do you?
No.
Good. That's a relief.
Just an oyster intolerance.
So those are my Bakewell tart brownies.
Oh.
But I think they taste kind of Christmassy. Would you like
I
one?
just want one anyway now.
That's delicious.
Can she take the hat off?
You can take. Well, no.
I quite like
I
this.
think it's a good one.
Thank you, Mark.
Enjoy that.
Yeah.
There's one for you,
Isn't it
Vassos.
interesting eating with your eyes closed?
Eating with your eyes closed.
There was very famously a pitch black restaurant in London, wasn't there?
They're still there.
Dining in the dark. I did it for my sister-in-law's
Still there, you can still
hen
go.
do.
Have you been?
No, I've never been. The idea of it terrifies me.
Okay.
Now here.
Oh, it's
I've-
brought some more stuff, man.
Don't, we
Some more
can't
swag.
say what it is.
I'm not going to say what it is.
But there's a combination here. I know I'm off mic now, so I'll just shout a bit. But there's a combination here to have.
Uh-huh.
So
Oh, my
we can all
goodness.
try some of these.
I so want to make reference to what this looks like. Oh, come on.
Just put a little bit of that on it.
A little bit of that on that.
Oh,
Oh,
this is multi-layered.
so this,
Coming your way, Rachel.
Rach, you've got to take a bite out of this.
Oh,
Here we go.
You ready? Open wide.
Very trusting.
There we go. There we go.
Serious trust
There we
going
go.
on here.
How do you? I'm going to leave the rest of it there.
What do
Is
you mean
that a mince pie with brandy cream?
Well, you see, are you sure it's brandy?
Well, some sort of alcoholic cream.
So that is my mince pie, and I think it's a new way of approaching the mince pie, because what I do is I make a Cointreau and Satsuma rind cream to go with it.
No, can you have that? Because you don't drink either.
You boil it down so the alcohol's out of it.
Is that all right?
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah. What,
So we can have a few pints of this on Christmas
Yeah,
Day.
you could eat that whole tub and it wouldn't have the slightest effect
Did
on
you
you.
make those mince pies?
I did.
They
They're
are the most
delicious.
beautiful looking mince pies. I've not tasted one, but I can't wait.
Are you going to have one? I noticed that you, of course, you have to speak, don't you? So you can't eat that yet.
Yeah.
Vassos.
I've eaten it. It's delicious.
You good?
I've eaten it. Delicious.
Would you like
Yes,
some
please.
mince
That's
pie
always
with,
The
Yes.
mince pies look amazing.
with a little bit of Cointreau cream on it.
Mark Wogan, this is Mark Wogan, son of Terry Wogan. Mark is on the show to talk about his new podcast called Spooning. It's with this company, with News Broadcasting. It's all very, very exciting. And you filmed each one of these. I didn't realise you'd made so many until I watched your very handy sizzle reel yesterday.
Does display, doesn't
It's
it, what
brilliant.
we've been up to?
Tempt people to the buffet with mention of what might be on it. Who might be on it?
So coming up, we've got the first one today, which is Tom Kerridge. Then next Thursday will be Matt Tebbett. And then on the 21st, I think, if I've got the date right there, we have our Christmas special with our dear friend Ewan Venters and Jimmy Carr, talking about all things Christmas.
They're like Bezies, aren't they?
They are like Bezies.
You're their Bezzy as well.
Well, I sort of hang around on the periphery.
So Ewan used to be the CEO of Fortnum & Mason.
Yes.
And now he's in charge of many amazing eateries. Don't you film things in his
So we
gaffs?
film it at the Mount Street restaurant. They've got this fabulous room at the top they call the games room. And Jamie Shears, who's the head chef there, helps and puts together all the sort of spoons for the guests and cooks all the amazing food that we serve to the guests. So luckily it's not me cooking it.
Doesn't the Queen go there every Tuesday under cover of darkness?
I couldn't possibly say.
I think she does.
But I mean, I've got to thank Ewan for his support with this because he's been incredible.
Yeah.
And you know they let us use the space and it looks so beautiful on camera it is beautiful.
If this was a child, you and he would have conceived it together.
Yes, we did. We did. But you are partially to blame for all of this.
As
so if
always.
anybody doesn't
Blame
like it,
the ginger kid with specs.
well, there was that day I was walking past the Audley pub.
Yeah.
And you and him were in the window. I casually waved.
Yeah, we were out of Audley.
Yes. and you beckoned me in and I sat down and I was chatting away to various people, talking the usual tirade of rubbish that I had that comes out of my mouth. And there was this nice man there and he turned around to me and went, "Have you ever thought of doing radio?" And I said, "Not really. It's more my dad's gig."
Yeah.
And he went, "I think you should do it."
And that's Denny, our boss.
That's Denny, your boss.
And now your boss.
Well, it seems that
There's
way,
a
doesn't
Wogan
it?
on the payroll. It's all going to be all right. And you're partly to blame, almost all to blame for me not drinking anymore.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's okay. I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying
But
it.
I have to say,
Yeah.
I think the fact that you've been very open about the fact that you're doing that is what it does is it makes it seem possible to people.
If
you can do it,
if Evans can give up the booze,
anyone
can do it.
The fact I do think it's slightly unfair that you've forced your wife to do it as well.
Mark, you know my wife. Nobody can force her to do anything.
I don't know.
You idiot. It's the most idiotic thing you've ever said since I've known you, which has
But
been
you know,
basically forever.
The strange thing is, Susan, my wife, she stopped for dry January. I mean, she has lived. We've been together 24 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Congratulations.
And you know, she wasn't shy of a drink, should we say? She liked to relax in the evening. Last January, she stopped for dry January. She hasn't started again.
See, this is the thing, isn't it? It's the way forward.
And she loves it.
More and more people are doing it.
I mean, she started throwing herself in ice now as well.
Yeah, no, you do other things. You do,
started-
you spend hours matching your clothes and stuff like that, apparently. That's what I'm hearing.
It's worth it. This is a
Thank you,
strong
Rachel.
look,
Thank you,
Mark.
Rachel.
Very
I-
impressive.
you know-
Take us through Mark's Thursday
well, let's
radio
start
look.
at the beginning, at the top. Well, actually, what I noticed about you, Mark, is you tend to go for a basic sort of black layer, and then you build from there. That's your canvas.
He's so pleased.
And then you accessorise. And today you've gone for hues of pink, haven't you?
Yes.
Like the blush of a morning sunrise.
Yes, we've got a range of pinks.
It's fabulous. So
With a
we've
black
got,
base.
with the black canvas,
Yeah.
then so we've got a checkered pink and purple V-neck button-up cardigan, probably some sort of.
It's a
some sort of-
mohair.
It's a mohair, of course it is. And then you've really made that pop with your black and pink and white Air Force Nikes, and pulled it all.
Air Jordans.
Air Jordans.
And it's a coral.
Oh, is it
Yeah,
coral?
it's coral.
Wow. Well, it's
love
really
your
being
fashion,
pulled
don't
into
you?
the pink by the
Well,
jumper.
I mean, this doesn't just. You know what? You know why I'm smiling? Because Rachel has noticed that this doesn't just happen. A little bit of thought goes into this every day.
We can all sense the thought that's gone into it.
And you've got ET socks.
He's got ET
That's
socks.
fabulous.
ET socks are strong.
A different look for Mr. Wogan. Mark Wogan, I was a rebellious teen. The natural place to end up was the kitchen in ×2. He's gone for the Das Boot look here.
Oh.
That's a Das Boot kind of...
I mean, what isn't improved in life by a polo neck?
Yeah, it's very strong. Again, it's very strong.
You know,
very strong.
I mean, it's for those of a certain age would see it as a tad Valdunican.
Yeah, thank God this podcast can be watched as well.
Yeah.
It has its own YouTube channel, doesn't it?
It does.
Spoon, you have your own YouTube channel.
Well, so what you do
Come
is
on.
you just search Spooning with Mark
Spooning,
Wogan,
yeah.
wherever you get your podcast, and on YouTube, and you'll be able to find us.
It's great
And
format.
It's up at 7 a.m. every Thursday.
It's great format. You're really good at interviewing people. I love your interview with Tom.
Thank you.
Know, and they're not. These aren't long form. They're about half an hour-ish, aren't they?
Yeah, well, you know, those long form ones can be quite a commitment.
No, they can. By the way, there's nothing wrong with anything. You can go a long haul holiday, or you can go around the corner. It doesn't make any difference. But yours is a shorter format. But you get so much out of Tom Kerridge. I didn't realise his whole origin story. The fact he was an actor, the fact that he's been in stuff that we would have seen. He was mostly cast as a thug. He was cast in one very famous program as in the credits. He was what?
Miss Marple.
Thug 2.
Yeah.
Thug 2 he came up as. Not Thug, well, not Second Thug or Son of Thug. Thug 2. Terrible. So he stopped doing that.
He stopped doing that.
And
luckily he started to cook.
And also, I didn't realise that Beth proposed to him within 8 weeks of them meeting.
Yeah.
Because she clearly recognised that he needed
Help.
Permanent help.
Like we all do.
For the rest of his life.
Like we all do.
Yeah. It's the head that turns... The neck that turns the head. So talking about Son of Wogan, we have a Wogan on the payroll. It's all going to be all right, everybody. We can relax now. There is a Wogan in the house. Are you listening? Bring your own bread and butter and a bun. Your dad and broadcasting, and you managing your father. You managed Terry Wogan. What was that like?
It was a thankless task.
Right, I was
Chris.
going to say.
I would like to say...
Talk about getting people to do what was good for them.
Well, I mean, I would like to say I did nothing more than dramatically improve his earnings. And
Right.
all he ever complained about was the size of his tax bill.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong there.
No.
And you did this with your brother Alan.
I did.
So what is Alan doing now?
Well, we're still business partners.
Right.
So Alan and I started Homeslice together.
Got it.
And now we have Simplicity Foods, which is our plant-based business.
By
that
the
we
way,
do
I've had your
together.
pies.
They're good,
Your
aren't
pies
they?
are off the chain.
They'll be available next year.
Right, so because they're in R&D. I had one about 8 months ago.
Yeah.
They couldn't be any better. What's the hold up?
Well, it's finding the sort of right way of making them en masse. You can make them in sort of
that's what Elon
small
Musk says.
batch.
Yeah, Elon Musk says
You know,
that.
so with us, it was about taking the ultra out of
Got it.
processed foods. So
Got
we
it.
always try and find the best way at Simplicity to make the foods. But Neil Rankin, who's also a famous chef,
Yeah.
who's our partner and the creative founder of the business, is genius at finding those solutions, along with the whole team.
No, because
there.
Elon Musk said it's not about designing the car, although it's hats off to all the designers and all the R&D. He said, but when you try and produce things, when you try and scale things, he says there are 10,000 things that can go wrong with the production process of, say, a Tesla Model X. And if one of those things doesn't work, the car doesn't get made. Same thing with you.
Yeah,
Pies.
You put one little bit of seasoning wrong, or you don't get the pastry
The
quite right.
consistency.
And it's slightly harder doing it on a larger scale.
But once you nail it, I would imagine. So how far are you away from nailing it? What kind of production?
We're hoping at the very latest by spring next year.
And where could we get these? Because honestly, I'm not joking. These are the best. They're all plant based. You can't tell.
No.
I don't know if that can fall one way or another with people. They were.
But we've taken a revolutionary approach
Hang on
to
a sec.
plant-based.
Just let me tell.
Yeah.
They're so good. I had to say to Mark, please stop sending us these pies because it's all we're eating. Sorry, carry on.
But no, we've taken a revolutionary approach to
Off you go.
plant-based eating. We use vegetables because it turns out they're really good for you and they taste nice. And you don't need to pack it out with lots of things
Salt, oil, and sugar.
that you need a degree in food science to understand what they are.
Got
it's
it.
just food.
Got it. Before we let you go, once again, we've got to clarify on the fact this is a brand new podcast. It's out today. It's called Spooning.
It is.
With the
Spooning
one-
with Mark Wogan.
The only Mark Wogan. And guests, we didn't get through all the guests, by the way.
Okay, so coming up, we've got as I said, Tom, then Matt Tebbett, then Jimmy and Ewan,
Claudia.
and then Claudia, and then the Hairy Bikers, and Helen Skelton, and
Brilliant.
Dan Snow, and Joe Wicks, and David Gandy.
These are all done.
I'm leaving straight here to go and interview David Gandy, which weirdly, my wife wanted to come to that one.
Well, and also it involves blindfolding him.
Yes.
So she really would want to come.
Yes.
Talking of which, this is serendipitous. I knew it would happen with the Wogan in the house. Lenny Kravitz.
Yes.
Right. Every time... What's the matter?
I think you're more obsessed with Lenny Kravitz than Tash is.
And you wonder why.
Just let it go.
I can't let it go. I've tried to let it go.
David
let it go.
Gandy is my Lenny Kravitz.
Well, hang on a sec. Hang on a sec. Here we go. Here's the conversation,
Right.
Rach.
Go on.
There is a new reason for me talking about Lenny Kravitz and Tash. So we know that if she could recast me in her life, it would be Lenny Kravitz.
Okay.
If she could recast anybody you've ever heard of in a male role, it would be Lenny Kravitz. She loves Lenny Kravitz. He's older than me. Apart from that, we you can barely tell us apart. You've tried his fitness regime, haven't you, Vassos?
Yes, I have.
Which includes what?
It includes, instead of doing, say, 10 to 15 squats in every session, you do 77, and then 50, then 30. I mean, it's exercise plus.
Every time we mention Lenny Kravitz, not every time, but like I'd say one time out of 4, Mark will then text me a photograph of Mark looking a bit like Lenny Kravitz from the waist up. And the thing is, you really do. You don't anymore, but you did.
What are you saying? You're saying I've let myself
You
go?
look fantastic, but he's different level. For a while, you could hold a light to him. What was that period? What was going on there? If you don't believe me, I will now Instagram this photograph of Mark Wogan. Go on.
So, as I was approaching 50, I decided to get into the best shape of my life.
Yeah.
And my whole program was fit as F at 50.
Right.
Right? Took me 8 months. I lost 30 kilos and I got to 7% body fat. And the thing with that is you look great naked, but in clothes people think you're ill. Right. Because you get to 50, body or face, you can't have both.
Is that right?
Well, to the point where
Unless you're Lenny
Susan got
Kravitz,
stopped
though.
at school
Yeah.
and somebody said, "How long's Mark got left?"
No way.
Yeah. I'm in the best
but
shape of my life.
That.
But Lenny's 59,
Yes.
and face and body, you can have both.
Yeah, I think it's
And he
because
gets the hair.
I think it's because at some point my face did expand quite a lot.
Right, so
Then
like
when
a-
I removed the expansion, there was a little bit
Semi-deflated
of loose...
balloon,
Yeah,
that kind
exactly.
of
like a slow
look.
puncture.
All right, got it. You're also big with the tats, aren't you?
Yeah.
When did they start?
Unbeknownst to my parents,
Good. Already a brilliant answer.
when I was 15.
How'd you keep that a secret?
For not very well, it turns out.
When did they find out?
I probably made it to 16 before they saw the terrible dolphin I'd had put on my arm.
Right.
And it sort of started from there. But as you know, I have the odd issue with addiction, and they are quite addictive.
Yeah, they are.
So basically my whole left side is tattooed.
Well, they're not actually addictive unless you're addict.
Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, I take that.
Anything's addictive if
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. But I just love having them done.
And does the dolphin still exist, or is the dolphin morphed into something
it's
else?
covered. It's covered
Can
up.
you still see the dolphin in the middle of things?
No.
Oh, that's a shame.
No.
I feel sorry for the dolphin.
Well, it was a terrible tattoo.
Was it?
I mean, they got the nose all wrong.
You can't. Even I could draw the nose of a dolphin.
Well,
Maybe
I mean, if
not
you
on
go
human
somewhere
skin.
at 15 and they don't ask you your age, you've got to ask, are they
they
a
actually-
reputable
yeah.
tattooer?
Have they just wandered into the shop and the real tattooist is in the back and they thought, next person that comes in, let's pretend it's ours.
But my favourite one is...
Was it in Brighton?
No, it was in
Hamburg.
Kensington Market.
Right.
Do you remember Kensington?
I do.
I know the tattooist downstairs. Yeah.
Kensington Market was amazing because it was like this small doorway and you thought, that's not a market. And of course, once you went in, it was.
And it's where Freddie Mercury used to work.
Freddie Mercury, that's right.
Yes. He used to work in a clothes shop there.
What about Kensington Market?
Yeah,
Thank you
it's
for
all gone now.
reminding us of that, if nothing else, on this particular.
But my favourite one is my pig that is about here, that came about...
Okay, Mark is gesturing towards his left
Do you
hip.
want to see the pig?
Yeah, go on. See the pig.
There's the pig.
Like the pig. Great pig.
So, my wife, Susan,
Really good pig.
hates tattoos,
Okay.
right? And we were away in San Sebastian. It was a trip that had taken 12 years to come about because of ash clouds and lockdowns, because it was to celebrate my 40th, then it was to celebrate my 50th.
Yep.
So anyway, I decided we should mark this occasion with a tattoo.
Okay.
So I found a tattoo artist, I booked it, and then I told Susan that we are marking the occasion in this way. And she looked at me and said, well, you can only have it if I choose what it is. And at that point, a plate of jamon iberico came down in front of us on the table. She went, you're having a pig. Thinking I would say no. And I went, yep, okay, fine.
Just don't care.
Yeah, don't care.
Just ink me, baby.
Ink me.
All right, great. Anything else you'd like to get out there before you depart, Mark?
Just a load of thank yous to everybody who's played a role in this. Johnny, the producer, Chris, Rory, Ewan for all his
Good
support. My mates like Claudia and Jimmy who put some trust in and pitched up and did it. And it's been... honestly, the most fun professionally I can remember having. It's been fantastic.
Okay, and Homeslice still rocking and rolling?
Homeslice still rocking and rolling. Simplicity Foods doing really well. Mainly because my brother's running it, and the fantastic Amy, who's head of operations at Homeslice, is running it, while I'm running around pretending to be something else.
All right, mate. Great to see you, man.
Thank you.
All right, Mark Wogan, Spooning. It's available from today. It's a brand new podcast. You can watch it on its own YouTube channel. It's out there from wherever you get all that stuff in your particular life.